Hiawatha artist. Before Miss G teaches you about puppets today, I just want to say hello, because I am a puppet. I am what's called a sock puppet, because guess what? I'm made out of a sock. I am being controlled by a puppeteer right now. A puppeteer is someone who makes the puppet work. So in this case, it's your art teacher. I can't wait for her to show you how I was made. And I hope you have fun making puppets and making me some friends. See you later, Hiawatha artists. Hi artists, I hope you enjoyed meeting my sock puppet friend. I'm excited because I'm going to show you a few different puppets you might try to make at home. Puppets can be made out of just one or two things, very simple, or they can be really intricate. And if you watch the video that Jim Henson made a long time ago, he was a puppet master of designing, creating, and working puppets. He made the show The Muppets, and they have characters you might recognize like Kermit the Frog or Miss Piggy. And he designed the puppets for Sesame Street, so many of you might already know some of his puppets. So those puppets take a lot of materials and a lot of work. In Vermont here we have Bread and Puppet, which is a place, I actually have been there before and you may have heard of it. It's in Glover, Vermont, and there's a museum where you can see amazing puppets that are made out of clay and paper mache. But puppets, again, can be made with just simple things. So I'll show you how to get started on puppet making, and where you want to take it from there is up to you. This kind of puppet is a marionette because it's controlled by strings, although I just realized I lost the strings for the arms. Usually there'd be a string attached to the different parts. And a puppeteer, a person who works puppets, would be above working the puppet. So you might not see the puppeteer and you might just see the puppet moving. I'm going to show you how to make a sock puppet like the friend who introduced you, a stick puppet, and a paper bag puppet. You may not have any of these materials, but you can do your best to work with what you have or even design a puppet. I think I mentioned in the last video to maybe start collecting different materials if you found anything neat. So I even collected some flowers to use for my puppet. I have some bottle caps. But anything that you have available, markers you want to collect before you get started, any glues or tape. So I'll show you how to work with those a little in the puppet videos. But just collect anything you think you might want to use to make your puppet. This is going to be so fun. I hope you enjoy it, and I can't wait to see or hear from some of your puppets. So the paper bag puppet is wonderful because it already has a mouth. So this open space is where the tongue and teeth would be, and here would be the top of the mouth or the top lip and the bottom of the mouth. So you can think about that while you're designing. And I happen to have this worksheet at home that I usually use to give us ideas of what the mouth and hands might look like. And it depends what materials you have too. Are you gluing things on or are you just drawing? I love the paper bag puppet because you can really keep it simple and you can just draw on it and have an awesome puppet if you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And I want my paper bag face to be kind of goofy and this to be a fun puppet. So you want to think about their personality. What is their voice going to sound like? What is their hair and eyes and nose? What might those look like? What might they say? What kind of personality do they have? So let's see. I'm going to make just a simple nose for this one. A little triangle. And maybe I'll try one of these cool mouths out. Actually, a mustache would be pretty fun. I'm going to start drawing a mustache. And it would kind of cover the lip. So this might work out pretty good. It's going to be a funny looking puppet. And let's see, maybe we'll do some eyelashes. And I'm going to flip open this. And I want to just color in some red so maybe when it's talking it will look more like an inside of a mouth. You can kind of fold that flat back. Sometimes if you don't have a brown bag like this, you can use an envelope. And a lot of food comes in bags like these, so try to keep on the lookout so you can make more puppets. So already, just by using some markers, I have a very simple, silly puppet. And you can just keep drawing and decorating that puppet. It could be an animal puppet. Maybe if it's an animal, you flip it over and add some sort of tail. Let's see. I have some paper. I'm just going to rip a piece off because we're using kind of found objects. And if I have tape or something, I could just tape the tail right on. I do have the Elmer's glue, and like we practiced in school, if you do glue anything on your puppet, you just, especially if it's paper, you could just use a tiny dot. But you have to let it dry, because if I start playing with my puppet now while that glue's drying, it might fall off. Also, if I go to flip it back over, there's glue on it now, and it might get my table here dirty. So I'm just going to put a little paper towel around. Now, another way you can go about this is, did you look around and find some cool things at home? Like I was able to collect a few bottle caps, so I might make bottle cap hair maybe. And again, that would take a little bit of a stronger glue, or maybe, ooh, they can be cool ears. So I just want to play around. You can really add anything you want. Maybe I'll go back to some of those flowers I found. Oh, that looks pretty cute. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. If you ask your family members if they have any scraps of fabric or anything you can come up with, just make sure you ask permission first before you take things, but you can really use anything to decorate your puppet. Keep it as simple or intricate as you would like. Simple paper bag puppet. So to make a stick puppet, there are three main things you're going to need. Either a piece of paper or cardboard, some sort of stick, and scissors. Just like with the other puppets, markers, any other materials you have to decorate these puppets would be great. The first thing I want to figure out is how big my puppet's going to be. You may have a bigger stick. I have this chopstick I found that came with my Chinese food, and I'm going to use that for my stick. So I don't want to make a huge puppet or else it's going to not stay on the stick. So if you're using a small stick, your puppet might have to be small. And you can usually find cardboard, thin cardboard, cereal boxes, things like that. Or you can use thick paper if you have some. So I'm just cutting open my cereal box. We've all practiced how to use scissors safely at school, but you may want to check with an adult about if you can use the scissors and things like that. You can even, if you don't have scissors at home, you can sometimes carefully rip your cardboard in the shape you want it. So again, I'm going to make a small puppet, and I want my puppet, I think, to be an animal. I'm going to just start with a circle shape until I know exactly what I'm going to do with my puppet. So something like this, and that fits my puppet stick pretty well. You want to be able to tape or glue your stick on in a way that the cardboard or paper will stay. Then you can go ahead and decorate your puppet however you want to. So just like with most things, you might want to draw first and see what you want to do. But I'm keeping mine small. Carefully cut it out. Now you're going to take the stick, you're going to flip your puppet over. If you have tape, that works best, I find. And you want it not too high up, but you don't want it way down here. Again, it might not hold up, so I usually like to go somewhere in the middle with it. And then you can add a few pieces of tape. Maybe one more. Okay, so now I can move my puppet around. Maybe I add a flower to my puppet. Again, you want to just use one dot, let it dry. So you can decorate your puppet however you like, but here's an example of a stick puppet. So one of the simplest kinds of puppets you can make is a sock puppet. And the reason is all you need is a sock. By sticking your hand in the sock, and you want to make sure it's a clean sock, you can make some sort of mouth for a puppet. And that way, if you don't have any extra or old socks that you can decorate, you can just keep it simple. If you can find an elastic band or something to tie around where your thumb is and your other fingers, that helps the mouth shape keep a little more. And when I designed this puppet in the beginning of the video, I actually took some dandelions I found outside and I just kind of pulled them through the elastic so they stayed into these fun eyes. So it's kind of cool if you can't use the sock permanently, you can stick things in the elastic to decorate it. Your puppet can still eat stuff when it's hungry and talk. Part of the fun thing about making puppets is giving it a personality. So I gave mine a silly voice in the beginning, and that's kind of really fun. If you have a sock that's old and you have permission to use it and glue things onto it or draw with markers on it, you can do that. It can be more of a permanent puppet, but I find the sock puppet is the most fun for a temporary puppet too. I'll show you some pictures of some sock puppets in the learning plan. Hello kids, I'm Charlie and I am a paper bag puppet. And I'm Froggy, and I am a stick puppet. And I'm the puppeteer, Miss G. I hope you all enjoy making whatever puppet you decide to make and becoming a puppeteer yourself. So remember, a puppeteer is the person who works the puppets. So you get to decide what your puppet says, what they do, what their personality is like. And you might want to think about all those things before you even decide what puppet you're going to make. Remember, if you need scissors and glues or things you're not sure to access, ask an adult, or you can just keep your puppet simple and use what you have. So there's many ways you can take this lesson. If you can, I'd love to see a photo of your puppet, or even better, a video with showing some of your puppet skills, what they would say. I've enjoyed, as you can see, playing with my puppets alone, but they're really fun to play with others with if you make more than one. You can maybe make a puppet show. You can make a puppet that's a favorite character of yours and maybe a favorite book or something like that. So have fun with it. Do what you'd like. And I really hope you all enjoy this lesson. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.